Welcome back. In the second video, we're going to be looking at actually running Docker containers inside of Photon running in vCloud Air. If you haven't watched the first video, watch the first video on actually how you install Photon and actually set up proper networking to make sure that it can run properly in vCloud Air. Now we're going to left off where we were before, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a Docker PS to see if we have no images running. Now we're going to do a Docker run. We're going to expose port 80 on the outside of our host and expose port 80 inside of the container, and we're going to use the Tudum WordPress Docker container. We're going to let this go ahead and get going, and I'll be back here in a second. We're going to perform a Docker PS to make sure that our container is actually running, and we can see that it's exposed on port 80. Now, we can try to pull this up inside the web browser, but nothing's going to happen. It's because at this point, the vCloud Air Firewall is blocking any sort of traffic on port 80. So let's go ahead and we're going to open that up to the vCloud Air interface. We're going to go to the Gateways tab. Inside the Gateways tab, we're going to click on our gateway, and we're going to go to the Firewalls tab, and we're going to add another firewall role. Within here, we're just going to name this HTTPN, and we're going to go through and we're going to set a few parameters to allow any protocol running on TCP UDP to then go through and access anything on port 80 on the internal network. The firewall rule has successfully been added, and as we can already see at the top in our tab, the WordPress installation page is showing itself. So now we can actually go through and click through and set it up if we really wanted to. Let's go ahead and we're going to just show another example of running yet another Docker container. So we're going to run the same exact Docker container, except this time we're going to expose port 8080 on the outside of the host and 80 internally. And we can already see that we have both Docker containers already up and running. Now, of course, we can't access this until we create another firewall role. So this time we're going to go through and actually set the IP address as the internal destination. Let's access our Docker container at port 8080, and now we actually have our WordPress installation screen. So now we have multiple Docker containers running inside of VMware Photon, all running inside of vCloud Air.